Coming to you from deep inside the bowels of a great big empty. Get ready for another episode of The Home Defense Show with Skip Coryell.
Hello, American families. Welcome back to this week's episode of the Home Defense Show. I'm your host, Skip Coryell. And if you love your family, care about them deeply, and want to learn how to protect them in every facet of your life, then you've come to the right place. We have a great show for you today, and I know that you're going to love it. This segment of our show today is sponsored by Elite Firearms and Training. If you want to have the best concealed carry gun, Elite Firearms and Training is where I would go. What do we have coming up? Well, in segments 2 and 3, we'll be speaking with two gentlemen, and I use the term loosely, Brian Jeffs and Nathan Nephew, co-authors of the children's book, My Parents Open Carry, and co-founders of the organization Michigan Open Carry. We're going to have a great time with them. I go way back with these guys, so it'll be, loose and fast and witty. These guys are hard to hold down, but they're both good guys, and they know what they're talking about when it comes to open carry. And then in segment 4, of course, we'll have the wrap-up. First, we're going to start out in segment 1 with Inside Skip's Brain. What is going on inside there? Let's clear away the cobwebs and see what have I been thinking about. First this week, I've done a lot of killing, and it left a sour taste in my mouth, but it had to be done, so I did it. Those 39 meat chickens that I started growing about 2.5 months ago were ready to be slaughtered, and I did not disappoint them. But it was a really grisly job, just like it is every year when I do this. I hate it. I mean, let's face it, no one likes to kill animals. Well, let me rephrase that. No one should like to kill animals. I mean, it's not fun. It's not like hunting where you go out there and you stalk your prey and you outsmart them and outwit them. This is different. First I have to chase them around the coop in the mud, in the slop, and then I catch them, and they're squawking away like crazy. It's just pitiful. And then I bring them out there and I lay the head on the chopping block, try and hold them down, because if you don't get a good cut, it's not pretty. It's not pretty anyways. And I take my Bear Grylls survival machete and whack. I lop off their head, and that's when the real fun starts. They're flopping around all over, and you got to hold on to them till they bleed out. I don't enjoy that. And if you folks are normal, you didn't enjoy even hearing that or listening to that. So many of us, we like to think of our food as being wrapped in cellophane, created in a factory someplace where under sanitary conditions, where it's all harmless and everyone is nice and there's warm fuzzy music. But you know what? That's just not the case. I think we have become out of touch with the real world in our daily lives. Everything is handed to us on a silver platter. Silver platter being a tinfoil dinner, right? You just pop it into the oven and pull it out and you've got your food. People create our food, they hand it to us, it's all wrapped up nice and pretty, got all those dyes and chemicals in there and hormones that make it taste good, and texture is fantastic. But you know what? This is the first time in history, human history, where it's ever been like that. It's just never been that way before. You go back 50, 60 years, and you couldn't get food already all made where you just pop it into a microwave for 2 minutes, and then out comes your food. People had to actually go out and get their food, stalk it, kill it, gut it out, drag it back to their house, cut it up, and then wrap it up, put it in a freezer or pressure cook it or whatever is dehydrated, if it's jerky, whatever they had to do. That was real life. And if you wanted vegetables, hey, you grew your own. But we're not like that. Our society it has really gotten far, far away from our roots. And I'm not advocating that we all grow our own chickens and kill them ourselves and cut them up. Because quite frankly, if I could afford it, I'd hire someone to grow those chickens and cut them up and all that stuff. But the reason that I do it myself is because of my family. My wife and my 7-year-old Phoenix, they can't eat all that hormone, chemical, preservative-infested meat that you buy at the store. So for them to get good, healthy food so they don't get sick, I grow my own, which means I kill my own. That reminds me of that Ted Nugent cookbook, Kill It and Grill It. That's a good cookbook, by the way. Head out on Amazon.com and pick that up. Again, I digress. It wasn't fun, but the 39 chickens, they are gone. I looked every one of them in the eye and said, "Thank you very much. We appreciate your sacrifice." And then off with their head. But that's done. Terrible, dirty job. And I'll do it again next year for my family. I think there's a balance that you have to achieve, when it comes to killing things. Let's talk about it openly and frankly. Remember a few weeks ago we were speaking with Gabe Suarez from Suarez International, and he said, hey, go out and kill something. Find some cute, fuzzy little Bambi-esque creature and blow them away. Now that sounds really harsh, probably because it is really harsh, but the reality is Western society, American society, has gotten so far removed from the agrarian culture that formed us that we've kind of lost, our edge. When you juxtapose, when you compare Western society to Islamic extremists, for example, third world countries, MS-13 gangs, they have an edge on us because they have no qualms about killing us whatsoever. They don't hesitate. They're very deliberate about it. They just go right into work. Now, I think what you want to achieve, the everyday person, is you want to achieve some balance. You don't want to enjoy killing. You don't want to like it. But in certain cases, you have to tolerate it. You can't back away. You can't shy away from it. If someone attacks your family, you can't be squeamish and say, oh, no, I'm too good of a person for that. You have to say, listen, you're trying to kill my family. You can't do that. Not on my watch. I had a lady just a few weeks ago call me up, and she had been attacked. A man grabbed her, pulled a gun on her, placed the muzzle of the pistol against her forehead, and threatened to kill her. And there was a scuffle, and he was drunk, so she was able to get away. He was arrested for felonious assault and for domestic violence, which is a good thing. I hope he goes away for a very long time. But I was speaking with her afterwards because she took a private shooting lesson from me because she felt like she wasn't ready, wasn't prepared, wasn't good enough with her guns, which I commend her on. And we practiced for a few hours, and then we sat down and we just had a heart-to-heart talk. And one of the things she said surprised me. She says, I don't know if I could kill him if he did that to me again. And that surprised me. It's one thing to love someone, but it's another thing to not love yourself. And what I explained to her was, listen, you need to understand and recognize the fact that when other people hurt you or kill you, you're not the only person affected. When someone hurts you, they're also hurting the people that you love. And this is a single mom with a lot of kids at home. That's what we're talking about. I tried to drive that point home to her. When you're protecting yourself, you're protecting your kids. your 6, 7, 8-year-old child, whatever it is. And when you allow someone else to hurt you, they're hurting your kids as well. And I got a nice thank you note from her afterwards, because she'd never thought of it in those terms before. And I think a lot of times, that's the way that it is. We have to get some type of balance between ruthless killing and being a sheep. Somewhere in the middle is where we ought to be. In that middle ground, that's where the normal people are. We don't want to kill, we don't like to kill, we don't enjoy it. But if it comes to you or my family, guess who wins? That's what it was with the chickens, right? My family needed those chickens. And so I just sucked it up, and I put on my grim face, grabbed my machete, and I went out and I did the dirty work. I did what had to be done for the sake of my family. I wonder how many of us in the Western society would starve to death if we had to kill our own food. I have a feeling that overpopulation would solve itself simply because people couldn't do it. We have become a weak society. Killing is nothing to be proud of, it's nothing to be glorified, but when it comes to you or your family, it's nothing to be shied away from either. To be a responsible father, a responsible husband, a responsible mom or wife, when you are part of a family unit, the responsible thing is to defend when bad guys come trying to kill you and the ones that you love. It's a duty, it's a responsibility, and you should not shirk that duty. Okay, well, hey, we are out of time in this segment. We don't have time for news, but you know what? The news is bad. The news sucks. It's all about Donald Trump and the Russians and all of that crap. So why belabor it? You already know what it is. Let's talk about what's coming up in segment 2 and in segment 3. We have Brian Jeffs and we have Nathan Nephew from Michigan Open Carry, the founders of Michigan Open Carry and the co-authors of My Parents Open Carry. A nice little quaint, okay, not very quaint at all, but it's a great book on Second Amendment rights and your children. How do you explain the right to keep and bear arms to your kids? Hey, this book is a good way to do that. It's called My Parents Open Carry, and you can get it at Amazon.com or MyParentsOpenCarry.com. That's it for this segment. While I'm away, and while you're listening to our great sponsors here, Elite Firearms, Firearms Legal Protection, and Child Safe One, I want you to get stocked up on water, get hydrated, and then do some bends and thrust. Now, you may not know what that is, but if you were ever in the Marine Corps, you know what that means, and it's painful. So if you've never been in the Marine Corps, go ahead and Google it, and get down on your face and get those bends and thrusts out of the way. Do 100 of them, and when you come back, we'll speak with Nathan Nephew and Brian Jeffs all about open carry. All right, folks, this is Skip Coryell on Home Defense Show. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
My name is CJ Coryell. Welcome to the Home Defense Show with my dad, Skip Coryell. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
This is Skip Coryell from the Home Defense Show, and I want you to have the very best handgun that money can buy. And that's why we recommend you visit Larry Jackson at Elite Firearms and Training. As a concealed carry instructor, I see people every week out on the range with guns they can't shoot properly because they didn't know what to buy. That will never happen at Elite Firearms and Training. Larry Jackson will personally fit you with your very own personal defense pistol. So call Larry Jackson today at 616-299-8715 or visit elitefirearms.us. This is Skip Coryell from the Home Defense Show, and I want to talk to you about keeping your kids safe around guns. I've never been a big fan of trigger locks, but I have to tell you, I have found a product called Child Safe One. It's a trigger blocker, not a trigger lock, and it works fantastic. I tried it out on my kids, and they could not get the Child Safe One off the training gun. I gave them 5 minutes. I sat there and I watched them, and they couldn't do it. Folks, I am satisfied, more than satisfied, that my kids are safe around Child Safe One. Here's the good thing about it. I can get that lock off the gun in under 2 seconds, but my kids can't even figure out how it works. Child Safe One is a win-win for everyone in the family. My wife's happy because she knows the guns are secure. My kids are happy because they're safe. And I'm happy because when the wolf comes a-knocking, I've got that gun cocked, locked, and ready to rock in less than 2 seconds. So go to globalgunsafety.com and get Child Safe One today. That's globalgunsafety.com. Check it out now and tell them the Home Defense Show sent you.
Okay, folks, welcome back to the Home Defense Show. It's your host, Skip Coryell. On the phone with us tonight, we have a couple of rowdy guys, well, at least one rowdy guy, Brian Jeffs, the founder of Michigan Open Carry, and Nathan Nephew. Nate, you're going to have to tell me everything about you because I really don't know. But boys, welcome to the Home Defense Show.
Well, thanks for having us, Skip.
Yeah, thanks. We really appreciate it. And I, believe it or not, I'm actually co-founder of Michigan Open Carry along with Brian.
Oh,
Yes.
Now that I didn't know. I'm glad we had this talk.
I was born in the house my father built back in the 50s. Oh, you said you wanted all our background?
Well, not that far back.
Oh, I see. Okay. I didn't know. I wanted to.
You are. I tell you what. I'll tell everyone what I know about you, and you guys can fill in the blanks. Okay?
Sure, that'd be good. Sounds great.
All right. Both of you are the co-founders of Michigan Open Carry. You are both on the board of directors for Second Amendment March, and you are co-authors of the book My Parents Open Carry, published by White Feather Press, my publishing house. So that's what I know. What else should I throw in there?
White Feather Press is you?
Yes, that's me.
I didn't know that.
Skip, I think you got all the important things that we've done in our lives there.
Well, you forgot great husband, father, lover, husband, companion. I don't know.
Okay, all right. Okay. I knew I wouldn't be able to direct this conversation with you, Brian, but that's okay.
You think all right, go ahead. You didn't think this was going to be a serious interview. I'm trying to inject levity, but now.
Well, I was hoping for it. Before we get on to other things, let's talk about your book, My Parents Open Carry. That's not, how do I want to say it? It's not an average, normal children's book. Tell us about your book, My Parents Open Carry.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's been years now, right, Brian? We were sitting around thinking, there's not a lot of material for children or for parents to start a conversation about gun rights, let alone, open carry specifically. And we thought, hey, who better than two people who have never written a children's book than to do that?
Right.
As Brian says, nobody's too young to learn about the Second Amendment. So we decided, hey, let's write a children's book about open carry. We were involved in the open carry movement in Michigan and Michigan Open Carry and all of that. And we thought, hey, if nothing else, it would be a good primer, a good conversation starter for parents to talk to, their children about gun rights.
Yeah, that's correct.
What kind of feedback are you guys getting? Are you getting any nasty emails, or is it all good, or what?
Just death threats from the left.
Well, that has happened. That actually has happened. We, surprisingly, I mean, you wouldn't know it if you see any of the media about the book, but we've gotten a lot of good feedback, obviously from the gun community. Both open carry and non-open carry people, we've gotten positive feedback just because it does touch on more than just open carry. But certainly, I mean, I guess our big break came when we got some negative press from Bill Maher mentioned it on his show, Stephen Colbert mentioned it on his show, in a negative light. But hey, I'll take it.
Yeah, sales took off, and we got requests for interviews from all over the world, and that was kind of cool. We did Australian television. We had people from China did a write-up on it. I think Brazil did something. Ireland did something. The UK, we were on the BBC a few times. And it became an international sensation for a short while, and that helped book sales. But it also it contributed a lot to the Amazon site where, the anti-gun people came on there and give it 1 star and debase it and make fun of it. Of course, there was all kinds of parodies, which is fine. We like that. It was actually on, I think it was Moms Demand Action Facebook page that it sort of got kicked off.
Yeah.
Nate and I put some comment on their page, and somebody reported it to like Reddit or something, and it got picked up by the press there. But it's a book about Brenna. She's 13, and it's a day in the life. It's a Saturday, and her parents both open carry for their protection. And it goes through from breakfast until the afternoon, and they go and they interact with different people in the community. And it gave us a chance to put a voice to not only the people that supported open carry, but those that supported just concealed carry, as well as those that were anti-gun. And it gave us a chance to sort of explain our position, why we think open carry is beneficial, what it has to offer. We also have a little discussion. Brenna has a conversation with a World War II veteran about what the word militia means and what the Second Amendment means. So it's more than just open carry. It's a pro-gun book, and it could be read by, 6, 7-year-olds we've had, look at it with their parents, up to adults that really like it. So I think it makes a great gift. It's something you can pass down to grandkids. And people, I know older people that don't have kids or have children that are adults, they buy them and donate it to their local school libraries to have in the library. So.
Well, I'm wondering if maybe we should follow up with a My Parents Open Carry coloring book.
Ooh, that would be a good idea.
Yeah.
I wonder if our original artist would be interested in that.
Why don't you guys check on that and get back to me? Because we could have that out in time for Christmas, and who knows? The only regret that I have out of working with you guys is that Barack Obama didn't get a copy in his hand, because if he'd have went on the air and just slammed the book, I mean, we'd all be living, in
retired
right now. But but hey, it's too late for that. Another thing that I've been
you could mail a copy to Trump. He might mention it in a tweet.
He might.
You could tweet Trump and mention it.
I could tweet Trump. That's good alliteration, but I don't think I want to do that. You are, as far as I know, the way I heard the story is you are the guy that walked into the Lansing State Capitol building, open carrying, and you were like the first guy to do that. Is that true?
Well, probably the first person to had of the public to have a firearm in the Capitol since the Civil War, probably, when they were worried about the South overtaking. But, yeah, when open carry was first starting out, and this was in 2007 in Michigan, there was a lot of online forums that were discussing open carry, and they would say, yeah, it's legal technically, but, if you do it, they'll arrest you for brandishing or some other trumped-up charge, and really nobody wants to open carry. They'll shoot you in the street. And there was all this stuff going around. And I thought, well, what better place to open carry and test the legality of it than in the state capitol where our laws come from? Mm-hmm. I figure if you can do it there, you should be able to do it, just about anywhere within the realms of legality of the laws that are on the books. So that's what I did. My sister and her son came down and were visiting us, and he was a Boy Scout. He was like 12 and wanted to go to the state capitol just to see it. So we drove down there, and I open carried. Going into the building, I'd been on the tour, so I told my sister and nephew, I said, go with them. The tour's, beginning, and I'll just sit on the bench here in the sort of lobby area on the main floor, and I was doing crossword puzzles. And I was sitting there a little while, and the lady that was at the front desk there, she finally noticed that I had a gun, and she says, is that what I think it is? And I said, I don't know. What do you think it is? Well, I think that's a gun. I said, well, yeah. And she goes, I don't know if you can have that in here. And by then I got up and I was walking toward her, and we're going to have a discussion. I said, yeah, it's legal to open carry, and they have firearms in the state capitol. She goes, it ain't legal. I said, well, you can call somebody if you want. I know you are, so I'm just going to go over here and sit and wait, So she called the capitol.
Play crossword puzzles.
Yeah. And the state police for the Capitol came over, and was talking to me about it and in the legality, and I said, it's legal. There's no law against it, and he wasn't sure about that, but he wasn't too in your face. He was doing a decent job, but his partner came over and surrounded me, and I'm still sitting at this point. They're standing around me, and I kind of told them that it's legal now. Kind of go away, and they said, well, we're not going to do that. We'll just stand here and watch you for the rest of the time you're in here. And I said, okay, I love police protection. And
yeah.
They went. They got the manager of the Capitol. There's a manager of the building in the grounds, and he came and I talked to him, and he had talked to the woman before he came over to me and got her story, and then I told him about the law and it was legal and stuff, and he said, yep, I agree with you. I didn't see anything that bans guns, and there's nothing, you can do about that. And the sergeant was saying, well, you didn't come in like that. You uncovered it once you got here, or there would have been a panic, because there were a lot of kids and school teachers wandering around on these tours. So there were a lot of people in the lobby there. Mm-hmm. And I said, no, I didn't hide it. I walked in just like this, And he said, no, you uncovered it when you got here. And then he left. And his partner stayed there and watched me because I was a danger, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think he went and talked to his lieutenant about it, but I think they also reviewed the video of me coming in, and they saw that I was indeed open carrying. Because when he came back, he was very apologetic. I said, oh, well, I said, everything's just fine. And I talked again to the manager. I said, well, you might write a memo to your staff saying that, firearms are legal. And so they're aware of that. And if they want to call the police, that's, their option. But let them know that, it's not against the law to do that. And he said he would do that. And, as well as I do, that we've had a great relationships with the Capitol and the staff there because we put on a lot of rallies and marches and stuff there through the Second Amendment March, right, Skip? So now people have carried long guns into the Capitol. Mm-hmm. They've gone into the galleries where the Senate and the House meet, and we've had legislators invite people down on the floor with their guns, and we've got a very positive reception after that. So it was, I think, well worth the risk. Plus, I got to say, hey, open carry must be legal, or if any place I would get arrested would be in the state capitol.
Well, Brian, you're right about all of that, and I, for one, believe that it was well worth the risk to your help for you to pave the way for the rest of us.
Right.
So thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, folks, we're out of time on this segment, but we're going to come back in about 2 minutes. We're going to talk to Brian Jess and Nathan Nephew again, more about open carry. While I'm away, go ahead, get down on your face and do about 20 sit-ups. No, you can't do sit-ups on your face. I'm just testing you. Do push-ups. Then roll over and do about 50 sit-ups. Brian, not you. Just relax. You just kick back, open up another cold brew.
Now I got to get up off the floor.
Yeah, all right. Okay, folks. This is Skip Coryell on the Home Defense Show. We will be right back.
This is Felix Coryell on the Home Defense Show. Always use guns safely and wisely. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This is Skip Coryell from the Home Defense Show, and I want to talk to you about keeping your kids safe around guns. I've never been a big fan of trigger locks, but I have to tell you, I have found a product called Child Safe One. It's a trigger blocker, not a trigger lock, and it works fantastic. I tried it out on my kids, and they could not get the Child Safe One off the training gun. I gave them 5 minutes. I sat there and I watched them, and they couldn't do it. Folks, I am satisfied, more than satisfied, that my kids are safe around Child Safe One. Here's the good thing about it. I can get that lock off the gun in under 2 seconds, but my kids can't even figure out how it works. Child Safe One is a win-win for everyone in the family. My wife's happy because she knows the guns are secure. My kids are happy because they're safe. And I'm happy because when the wolf comes a-knocking, I've got that gun cocked, locked, and ready to rock in less than 2 seconds. So go to globalgunsafety.com and get Child Safe One today. That's globalgunsafety.com. Check it out now and tell them the Home Defense Show sent you.
Wouldn't it be wonderful if life was like the movies and the good guys always won? In today's world, if you're forced to use your firearm to protect yourself, you will need protection. Firearms Legal Protection is here for you. FLP provides you with seasoned, experienced attorneys that handle your criminal and civil matters as a result of you protecting yourself. FirearmsLegal.com provides its members with uncapped attorney's fees, bail bond protection, and coverage in all 50 states. We are not a reimbursement plan. You can access uncapped attorney's fees for as low as $10 a month. Firearms Legal members are provided with educational services, training videos, and access to our vast national attorney network. While you're protecting yourself, let Firearms Legal protect you.
Listen up, folks. This is important. There are plenty of legal protection services out there, but none will protect you as well as Firearms Legal Protection. This is the one I use and the only one I recommend. Visit firearmslegal.com/Midwest Tactical and protect your family now.
Okay, folks, welcome back to the Home Defense Show. This is your host, Skip Coryell. We are continuing our discussion with Brian Jeffs and Nathan Nephews, co-authors of My Parents Open Carry and co-founders of Michigan Open Carry. You are just incredible, both of you. You also have a radio show called At Odds. Tell us about the radio show.
Essentially, you can find it at atoddshow.com. It's Brian and I bantering about politics and gun rights and the news of the day and the news of last week. And when we started it, Brian was pretty moderate, leaning liberal, actually, and I was very, very conservative. And since then, I've become more libertarian, and Brian's gotten a bit smarter and has moved more towards the middle conservative side, libertarian side of things. He's taken a few pages from my playbook. We called it At Odds because we definitely don't agree on everything, but...
Well, we still don't.
Right, still don't.
Yeah.
I'm right, always, and you get things wrong.
That's sometimes true.
Yeah.
I've listened to your show several times, and you guys go back and forth a little bit. And Brian, I don't know if you've noticed this, but you can be argumentative at times.
No, that's not true. I'm a big pussycat.
Okay.
Right. Very passive.
Actually, Brian, I am eternally indebted to you because you helped me get through that 18-month period when we were organizing the Second Amendment March on Washington, D.C., because every time we would have a rally or something, do you remember what you would bring me?
Yeah, Frappuccino.
Yes, not just any Frappuccino, a mocha Frappuccino, the large ones, not the small ones, and sometimes two.
And if they didn't have that, I'd bring you a Mountain Dew.
Yes, and I gained 20 pounds during that year and a half. Thank you very much.
I didn't want to say anything.
You never bring me coffee, Brian.
I bring you rum.
Oh, that's true. Never mind.
Oh, well, that's got to count for something. Let's talk a little bit about open carry in general. I know with some people it's controversial. For me, I see it in a couple of different lights. One, I see it in when it's really hot out, I don't want to conceal carry, so I enjoy open carrying. I mean, like right now, if it gets above 83, 84 degrees, I'm pretty much open carrying. But I also see it as a real nice tool for Second Amendment activism. But I want to get both of your take on it.
No, I think you're absolutely right. In the summer months when it's hot, it's more comfortable to open carry, not have to have a jacket or under your shirt or something. But it's also, I think it's important because like in Michigan, if you're 18, you can purchase a handgun, but you can't get a concealed pistol license to legally conceal the pistol. So in that case, open carry really is your only legal option, to carry a tool to defend yourself or your family. So I think it's important in that respect too.
Yeah. And I still will argue that it is a deterrent. We have anecdotal evidence. It's hard to prove that you stopped a crime that didn't happen, but we have stories where people were approached by shady-looking characters at night or at gas stations and things and actually been panhandled while they were open carrying, and people would notice the handgun and they kind of turned around and walked away, especially from a woman who was pumping gas. We have one story where she was approached quite roughly, and he was trying to get her purse. He saw her gun, and he said, "Am I in trouble?" She said, "You will be if you don't get out of here," and he turned around and ran. you can't do that when you're concealed carrying. You know, they don't know, so they may attack you. Well, with the gun exposed, the likelihood of being attacked are diminished, in my opinion, because I think they want a soft target. They don't want to deal with somebody that's armed.
Yeah, and like you said, I think it's a very pure form of expressing freedom, and it's also a great political statement. It's like Brian can show up in the state capitol building where the laws are made, carrying a firearm. That just screams freedom to me, and activism, and really what America, you know, is supposed to be about. So I think you're absolutely right there too. And certainly when we have rallies, we have the Second Amendment March every year, seeing, you know, hundreds of people on the lawn of the Capitol building open carrying not only handguns but rifles, shotguns, whatever it is. That sends a message.
And nobody gets shot.
Nobody gets shot. That's weird. All these years, and nobody's been shot as far as I know.
They don't leave a bunch of trash on the ground like some of the other more progressive events go on.
We've had a real good run with the Second Amendment March, and I think we've done a lot of good things, have a lot to be proud of. You were talking about the deterrent factor. For me, personally, I guess logic would dictate that a criminal who was sane would be deterred by someone open carrying who appears to be, you know, somebody who looks like they can handle themselves. You know, good situational awareness, you know, doesn't look like a sheep. For me, I'm getting on in years, you know, might belong in the tooth, and, you know, I'll be 60 in September. So for me, it's like I open carry less often than I used to, simply because I don't feel like physically I'm as much a deterrent as I used to be. I don't want to be hassled by the police and things like that. And Sarah, I don't let her open carry unless we're together, because Sarah is not physically intimidating. And I'm just shy by nature. I don't like to be noticed. If I have a gun, I might be noticed, whereas before I wouldn't. And I kind of like to fade in and into the background and not be noticed at all.
We've always said that it's a personal choice, and if you're not comfortable with it, don't do it. But let me ask you this. As you get older and you're concealed carrying, you appear to be more and more likely a soft target. And so you're more likely to be confronted. The idea with open carry is that it equals that playing field and allows you to have big teeth and big fangs, whether you're an old wolf or a young wolf. And the young wolf's going to respect those fangs. And so the idea is that I have the gun, it's out there, and criminals might have a second thought about even approaching me, let alone trying to physically overpower me, because they could get shot. Where you're concealing, they don't know. They assumed you're a soft target. And so they already begin their attack on you in whatever way it is, whether it's robbery or whatever.
The other thing is there just aren't that many stories, if any. I mean, there are some, but they're kind of shaky on the facts. But there really aren't that many stories of an open carrier being targeted. You know, a non-police, non-security officer, just everyday citizen open carrier. Because, I mean, that is the argument we always hear, is you'll be shot first if a robber comes into a bank, or someone will steal your gun. It doesn't happen. The stories that we hear about open carriers being targeted and harassed, it's by the police.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, and actually, that's a deterrent for open carriers.
You mean for not open carrying?
Well, yeah. I mean, who wants to get, body slammed and handcuffed and stuck in the back of a squad car?
But that's why open carry was established and created. Our goal was to educate not only the police, but the general population, so that they knew that it was legal, that we knew that we had a right to open carry, and that they shouldn't be harassing us. The fact of people being harassed by the police has dropped immensely as more and more people have open carried. That's one of the goals, and I think one of the successes of our organization.
Ryan, I think open carry has made some real inroads as far as the relationship with law enforcement and with legislators as well.
Our current president, Tom Lambert, has done a terrific job with creating good working relationships with the legislature, and actually has helped write some of the current legislation. And we've won a couple of good court cases, too, where we took it to the Michigan Supreme Court and Court of Appeals. And one was, the Lansing Library case, where they thought they could ban guns, and preemption, we said, no, you can't, and the Court of Appeals agreed with us. So that established that authorities are indeed local units of government. And I think
Yeah.
we have a case going before the Supreme Court about schools, and our argument's the exact same argument, that schools are local units of governments and they can't regulate firearms beyond what the state laws are. We're just waiting. There's been papers filed and all that, and it's usually a year before we get any kind of feedback from them.
I'm all for open carry. Well, I live out in the country, so it's a lot easier for me. I mean, I don't have to worry about getting body slammed on the pavement when I'm, in Berry County and Allegan County and those kinds of places. Typically, I won't open carry much inside Grand Rapids just because I don't want to be late for appointments and I don't want cops pointing guns at me and things like that. But what I really love are the open carry picnics. Tell us about the open carry picnics. That's some of the best food I've ever had.
Yeah, one of the early activities that we had to get people together and to teach them about open carry were to have these gun-friendly, open carry-friendly picnics at various parks around the state. And I think there's one this weekend in Clare, and it's Michigan Open Carry and Michigan Gun Owners are having a group event. And you could go to either one of those Facebook pages, Michigan Gun Owners or Michigan Open Carry, which both have very popular Facebook pages, and they have events there. I don't know the specifics, but you can find out where it's at. There'll be a map there and everything. And so we're still doing those, and we do a lot of them in the southeast part of the state because that's where we have a lot of our active coordinators that put these things on. But we do some in the Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo area. We do a few up north, and we still do that. And so usually it's a potluck. We have people bring a dish to pass. The organization provides hot dogs and buns and condiments and stuff, and we want to get people to bring their cookie recipe or their baked potatoes or German potato salad or whatever their family's favorite dish is.
Yeah, and actually, I think it was Burton where you and I met for the first time, was a picnic in Burton way back in 2007 or whatever it was. But the picnics they're not only good for people who open carry or carry guns, to meet with other like-minded people, they're perfect for people who are unsure or want to learn more or maybe to try open carry for your first time. Usually they're in a public park where even without a CPL you can open carry. They're perfect for those sorts of things, for just learning more about the community and about the laws and how to go about it and see other people that do it successfully without being shot or harassed.
And a lot of the non-gun people that are just using the park see a bunch of people together and might ask a question of what we're doing, and hey, I didn't know you could do that. And we say, here's a pamphlet, this is our website, and check it out. So it was a way to recruit and also educate people.
In my concealed carry classes, I'm getting more and more people interested in open carry. They'll ask about it, and I've got a couple of slides about it. And I always send them to, Michigan Open Carry website. I recommend that you're going to open carry, go to Michigan Open Carry website, check that out, find out what the rules are, what the laws are, learn pistol retention, it heightens, situational awareness and all of those things. And it's just becoming more and more socially acceptable. And I think probably 10 years from now, people will still be debating, whether or not it's a deterrent or if it's tactically unsound. And I'm just going to let those people just keep right on debating. We are about out of time for this segment, but before we go, thank you very much for all that you've done for Michigan Gun Owners. And second, tell us where they can get your My Parents Open Carry and about where they can tune into your radio show.
MyParentsOpenCarry.com or search on Amazon. That might be the easiest way to get it. It's My Parents Open Carry. As far as the show, at oddshow.com. We are live every Thursday at 8 p.m. We are live. So at oddshow.com, you can find it there.
We have Facebook pages for both.
Buy My Parents Open Carry. Go to myparentsopencarry.com. Check it out. It's a good book. All right, folks, that is about all we have on this segment of the Home Defense Show with Skip Coryell. It's going to be about 2 minutes. Put down that Mountain Dew and just kick it over to me. Just don't drink it. It's not good for you. It's all chemicals. Instead, get an ice-cold mocha frappuccino. Guzzle that down and do about 100 jumping jacks. And we will be right back in about 2 minutes with more on the Home Defense Show with Skip Coryell.
Welcome to my dad's Home Defense Radio show.
You're gonna love it.
Hey folks, this is Skip Coryell, host of the Home Defense Show. I want to tell you about my book, Civilian Combat, the Concealed Carry Book. More and more people across the country are seeing the dangers in society and deciding to carry concealed to protect themselves and their families. My new book lays it out step by step. It'll teach you how to protect and defend the ones you love. Get the benefit of 17 years of teaching experience and a lifetime of training for this important role in society and in your family. You can get Civilian Combat real easy. Just go to Amazon.com, search on Skip Coryell Civilian Combat. It'll pop right up there. Don't put it off any longer. Get Civilian Combat, the Concealed Carry Book, by yours truly, Skip Coryell. This is Skip Coryell from the Home Defense Show, and I want you to have the very best handgun that money can buy. And that's why we recommend you visit Larry Jackson at Elite Firearms and Training. As a concealed carry instructor, I see people every week out on the range with guns they can't shoot properly because they didn't know what to buy. That will never happen at Elite Firearms and Training. Larry Jackson will personally fit you with your very own personal defense pistol. So call Larry Jackson today at 616-299-8715 or visit elitefirearms.us. Okay, folks, welcome back to the Home Defense Show. This is your host, Skip Coryell. Before I get too far in, I want to apologize for the audio on my part. My daughter was sick last night, my 6-year-old daughter, Amethyst. She had a high fever, and when I did that interview, I couldn't be out in my studio because my wife had to go to church with Phoenix for Vacation Bible School. So I had to do that interview on my bed in our bedroom upstairs. Amethyst was laying right next to me, and I was on my cell phone, and it's the only way I could bring that to you, and it's not the best way. You'll notice that my audio quality wasn't as good. Of course, Nathan and Brian, they were getting ready to do their regular show at odds, so they were in a studio. They sounded great. Hey, my audio sucked, but sometimes life happens, and that's what you got to do. But the content was great, and I hope that you love it. Whether you are an advocate of open carry or an antagonist of open carry, that's fine. You know, the Second Amendment is the right to keep and bear arms. In my mind, that covers open carry and concealed carry. I really don't care if you conceal it or if you carry it openly. That's your business, right? I mean, I don't care what kind of holster you have. I don't care what kind of gun you have. Do I have my opinion on all of those things? Absolutely. I mean, I've got lots of opinions. I mean, for God's sake, I'm a radio talk show host. So yeah, I'm just stuffed plumb full of opinions. But what you do in the final analysis, that's totally up to you. If we were all identical, then a lot of us would be redundant now, wouldn't we? I see two aspects of open carry. Open carry as a defensive tool, and I see open carry as a Second Amendment activist tool. Let's deal with the defensive tool usage first. Now, opponents of open carry, and I gotta tell you, the people who are against open carry are vehemently against open carry, and they're quite vocal about it. They'll say things like, oh, you're giving up the element of surprise. And in many cases, that's true. You are giving up the element of surprise. I don't come down hard and fast, violently on one side or the other. I really don't. I take a more balanced approach. I look at it like, for example, when you choose a firearm, it's a compromise. You're trading compactness for firepower. When you choose open carry, you are choosing to give up that element of surprise. What are you getting in return? You're getting at least a perception of deterrence. Now, Brian talked about, well, we can't prove necessarily that a crime was avoided or that a crime was deterred. And that's true. I mean, how do you prove that something didn't happen? What people should do is what makes most sense to them. I advocate that you choose. Choose what you want to do. Research it, talk about it, learn everything you can about it, and pick what's best for your lifestyle and what is best for, what happens in your life, because we're all different, right? We have different mindsets. What I don't want you to do is be stupid, and go out looking for confrontations with law enforcement officers. I really don't like that. And that's a whole nother subject. I don't like it when gung-ho police officers give open carriers a hard time. I mean, they know darn well most of the time that these guys are just open carrying. But they'll pull them over, give them crap, prone them out, arrest them, take them to jail, knowing full well that they're going to be out in a couple of hours and they've violated their civil rights. Fortunately, the vast majority of law enforcement officers aren't like that. But there's also a very slim percentage of open carriers who just want to give cops a hard time and get it on video and put it on YouTube. And I don't like that either. I think that's stupid. I think it's inconsiderate. It's a waste of tax dollars to go out there and troll for cops so you can give them a hard time. It's not cool. It's not patriotic. It's stupid. I don't like it. Don't do it. Again, that's my opinion. Now, I think that open carry has done a lot for the Second Amendment cause. When it's done properly, I think it works great. When people are open carrying and they've got their kids with them and they're dressed nicely and they're polite to everyone, that's a great thing. It challenges the media-driven stereotype that gun owners are scumbags, that they're criminals, that they're bad people, because it allows the everyday public to see the truth about most gun owners. And, that's the way it is. If you're going to open carry, you be on your best behavior because you are an ambassador for the Second Amendment. Don't give people a hard time. If I'm open carrying and the cop comes up and asks me questions about it, I'm going to cooperate with that guy. I'll say, well, yeah, I'm open carrying. It's legal. If he asks me for my identification, I'll give it to him. And then when I'm all done and he runs my plates or whatever and knows that I'm a good guy, then I'll go ahead and educate him. I'll say, hey, I didn't have to give you my ID, but I'm trying to cooperate with you because I'm on the side of law enforcement. When you do something like that, it challenges the stereotype that this cop has been taught, that all open carriers are jerks and they're just out to be grandstanders. That's not the way most of us are. The notion of tactics. Opponents of open carry say you're giving up the element of surprise. Tactically, it's unsound. You are giving up the element of surprise. Now, how much of a deterrent you get, I think depends on the big picture. If you're 6'6" and you're carrying a .45 semi-automatic pistol on your side in plain view, wow, that's a lot of deterrent right there. I'm 5'10". Not as much of a deterrent to start with. Maybe Brian's right. Maybe I'm right. Because he said, hey, you're saying that you're becoming a soft target in your old age, which is true. There's different levels of soft, right? I'm not convinced that openly carrying makes me a harder target every single time. I think it depends on the bad guy. And I don't know what kind of a bad guy is going to attack me. Is it going to be, an ordinary common garden variety type criminal who is sane, not on drugs, and doesn't want to die? I think for a bad guy who doesn't want to die, who's looking for a soft target, yeah, even me, at my stage in life, he's going to see the gun and go, okay, I'll let this guy go. I think that's probably true. That makes sense to me. But if he's on crack, if he's mentally ill, if he is, in a gang, or if he's just a hardened criminal who is a sociopath or doesn't have any respect for human life or isn't afraid of anyone, I don't think I'm going to deter them even with my gun. But again, I'm guessing. I'm just guessing. And that's what makes sense to me. And that's the nice thing about the Second Amendment, open carry and concealed carry. We have the right to choose. As human beings, we can decide what is best for us. Now, maybe someday we will have solid data, solid evidence, videos, studies, whatever, that prove open carry is a deterrent or that it's not a deterrent. That would be great, because then we'd know. But I do know that 150 years ago, open carry was the norm, and concealed carry is what criminals do. So now that's 180 degrees out of phase from what it was 150 years ago. Things change. Social things, social norms change from one generation to the next. Bottom line is, I am not going to judge you if you open carry, and I'm not going to judge you if you concealed carry. It's your choice. You choose what you want to do. Now, what I can recommend, if you want to try out open carry, just for fun, and I got to tell you folks, it's fun. When we go to the Lansing State Capitol in Michigan every year, and we're carrying, AR-15s and shotguns and pistols all openly in and out of the state capitol, Nathan Nephew was right. It screams freedom. Because that Capitol building, who does it belong to? It belongs to us, to the people. And what is the government telling us when they say, yes, you can carry inside this building? They're saying, yes, we acknowledge that you have this right and that we trust you with guns. And I think that's what the government should be thinking. Hey, that's my 2 cents. That's my opinion on open carry. If you live in Michigan, go to miopencarry.com. That's miopencarry.com. And you can learn all about how to do it here in Michigan. Check out the open carry picnics. Oh, they are so much fun. Boy, I could tell you stories about open carry picnics. They're very family friendly, and you're going to love it, and the food is fantastic. You will gain weight at the open carry picnics. If you're in a state other than Michigan, just go to opencarry.org, and click on the state that you live in, and you can learn all about open carry in your home state. Well, folks, that is about it for this episode 36 of the Home Defense Show. The time has gone by really, really fast. Next week on the Home Defense Show, we'll be speaking with Gene Skolton. Gene chose to carry in his car and park while he was working. He was fired for that. Then his company refused to pay unemployment benefits to him. So we'll be speaking with Gene all about that, find out what happened. It's a great story, and I think you're going to love it, so don't miss next week's episode of the Home Defense Show. We'll be talking about firearms in the workplace, all different aspects of it. Between now and next week, go on patreon.com. That's patreon.com. Patreon.com. You get the behind-the-scenes look. You'll get more inside Skip's brain. All the backstory of the Home Defense Show and all things Skip Coryell. Our advertisers, Elite Firearms and Training, Firearms Legal Protection, and Child Safe One on globalgunsafety.com. Check them out, support them, because they make this program possible. If you'd like to advertise on the Home Defense Show, it's just $25 for a 30-second ad. Give me a shout out. Check me out on Facebook, and also go to Midwest Tactical website. That's mwtac.com, Michael Whiskey Tango Alpha Charlie.com. Sign up for some training. Go to Amazon.com and pick up my book, Civilian Combat, the Concealed Carry Book. We will see you next week on the Home Defense Show with Skip Coryell. Until then, remember your purpose in life is to find something greater than yourself and serve it. Always remember, God, family, country, in that order. It's important how you live, but it's equally important how you die. Your family and the ones you love need your protection, so train, always train, stay alert, stay alive. Until next week on the Home Defense Show, this is your host, Skip Coryell. God bless you, God bless your family, and God bless America.
Thank you for joining us this week on the Home Defense Show. Now, get out there and protect the ones you love We'll see you next week with more of the best in home defense.
Bye-bye, boys! Have fun storming the castle!